The modern industrial landscape is rarely defined by noise, but rather by a terrifyingly efficient silence. In the vast hinterlands of American commerce, inside the windowless concrete monoliths of regional distribution centers, a profound structural shift is occurring. It is not merely a change in personnel or a fluctuation in wages. It is a fundamental rewriting of the physical space where labor occurs. The catalyst for this transformation is not a piece of legislation or a fluctuation in interest rates, but a machine. Specifically, it is a proprietary, end-to-end automated storage and retrieval system known as the Symbotic system. To understand the future of the American labor market, one must look past the headlines of generative artificial intelligence and look instead at the physical architecture of the supply chain. At the center of this transition is a contract of historic magnitude. Walmart, the largest private employer in the United States, has engaged in a capital expenditure that signals a permanent departure from the traditional labor model. The retailer has committed to deploying the Symbotic automation platform in all 42 of its regional distribution centers. This is not a pilot program, it is a total systemic overhaul. As of late 2024, Symbotic holds a backlog of orders valued at over $22 billion. The vast majority of this demand stems from Walmart and Greenbox, a joint venture with SoftBank. This financial commitment represents a point of no return. When a corporation the size of Walmart retrofits its entire logistics backbone, the industry standard shifts irrevocably. The manual warehouse, a staple of blue-collar employment for half a century, is being rendered obsolete not by choice, but by competitive necessity. This is not vaporware designed to attract venture capital. It is a tool forged in the fires of low-margin, high-volume logistics. It is the result of a century-old industrial power deciding that the most effective way to manage labor costs is to eliminate the environment in which human labor can exist. The Symbotic system is the industrial equivalent of a grandmaster's chess move, played on a board made of steel and silicon. It is a technology born from the old philosophy of absolute efficiency and control, applied with the ruthless precision of modern robotics. To comprehend the threat this system poses to the traditional workforce, one must understand its physical architecture. A traditional warehouse is designed for humans. It features wide aisles to accommodate forklifts driven by people. It has lighting for human eyes and air circulation for human lungs. The Symbotic system rejects these constraints. It replaces the traditional racking with a massive high-density grid, often described by observers as a hive. Inside this structure, hundreds of autonomous mobile robots, or Symbots, navigate at speeds reaching 25 miles per hour. These distinct green units move in 3 dimensions, traversing horizontal rows and ascending vertically via high-speed lifts. They are untethered, autonomous, and relentless. The critical innovation here is the density of storage. In late 2024 and extending into 2025, Symbotic unveiled a next-generation storage structure that reduces the warehouse footprint by up to 40%. This compression is achieved by eliminating the empty space required for human ingress. The aisles in a Symbotic grid are too narrow for a person to walk through. They are unlit, as the robots navigate via sensors and wireless communication. This creates a no-go zone, a physical space where human presence is not just unnecessary, but impossible. Once this structure is erected, human labor is physically engineered out of the process. One cannot simply rehire workers into a Symbotic grid during a robotic failure or a shift in policy. The building itself has been inoculated against the reintroduction of the human worker. The economic logic driving this transition is unassailable. The Symbotic system offers a 5-fold to 9-fold improvement in outbound efficiency compared to manual distribution. In the low-margin world of retail logistics, an efficiency gain of this magnitude is not merely an advantage, it is a prerequisite for survival. The system boasts an accuracy rate of 99.9%. This level of precision virtually eliminates the costs associated with shipping errors, returns, and inventory shrinkage. However, the true economic weapon lies in the system's ability to palletize goods. In a manual warehouse, workers stack boxes onto pallets in a way that is often haphazard, requiring the receiving store to break down the pallet and sort the items before they can be shelved. The Symbotic system utilizes advanced artificial intelligence to play a complex game of three-dimensional Tetris. It builds pallets that are perfectly stable and organized according to the specific layout of the destination store. A pallet arriving at a Walmart supercenter is packed in the exact reverse order of the store's aisles. This eliminates the need for workers at the receiving store to sort through messy pallets, cutting labor costs at both ends of the supply chain. The automation of the warehouse creates a downstream efficiency that reduces the labor requirements of the retail floor. The human consequences of this architectural shift are profound and largely invisible to the consumer. We are witnessing a phenomenon that sociologists might term structural exclusion. We are not merely replacing a worker with a robot arm, a visualization common in science fiction. We are replacing a process with a building. The warehouse, historically a place of employment for millions of Americans without college degrees, is transforming into a server room for physical goods. Just as a data center requires only a handful of technicians to maintain thousands of servers, the automated distribution center requires only a small cadre of engineers to maintain the fleet of bots. Walmart employs roughly 1,600,000 people in the United States. The regional distribution centers are the arterial valves of this network. By automating them, the corporation removes the most labor-intensive bottleneck in its entire operation. This is not a gradual attrition, it is a structural excision. The roles being eliminated, forklift operators, pickers, packers, are statistically the most dangerous and physically demanding jobs in the retail sector. However, they are also the most accessible. They provide a living wage in rural and semi-urban areas where other employment options are scarce. The removal of these positions creates a vacuum that the service economy is ill-equipped to fill. The contagion effect of this technology is already visible. Following Walmart's lead, Symbotic has signed agreements with Target, Albertsons, and United Natural Foods, Incorporated. The adoption of this technology by the market leaders forces competitors to follow suit or face extinction. If the Cohen standard becomes the industry norm, the entry-level warehouse job ceases to exist as a mass-market option. It becomes a relic of a less efficient era, much like the elevator operator or the switchboard operator. The difference, however, is the scale. Logistics is one of the largest employers in the United States. The evaporation of these roles represents a significant contraction in the demand for low-skill labor. The transformation extends beyond the immediate displacement of current workers. It fundamentally alters the trajectory of the future labor market. The jobs that remain within these facilities are highly technical. They require certifications in mechatronics, systems engineering, and data analysis. The gap between the skills of the displaced worker and the skills required by the new system is a chasm that cannot be bridged by a simple weekend seminar. This contributes to the polarization of the workforce, where high-skill technical roles command high wages, while the remaining manual roles are devalued or eliminated entirely. The middle ground, the steady, reliable industrial job, is vanishing. One must consider the historical context of such shifts. During the Industrial Revolution, the mechanization of weaving displaced artisans, but eventually created new roles in factory management and machine maintenance. However, the ratio of replacement is the critical variable. In the case of the Symbotic system, the ratio is heavily skewed toward capital. A single investment in the architecture replaces hundreds of recurring salaries. The capital expenditure is high, but it is a one-time cost that depreciates, whereas labor is a recurring cost that inflates. For the corporation, the mathematics are simple. For the labor market, the equation is devastating. The no-go zone within the Symbotic grid serves as a potent metaphor for the broader economy. As technology advances, more sectors of the economy are becoming no-go zones for human labor. The speed at which data is processed, the precision with which goods are moved, and the complexity of the algorithms that govern global trade have surpassed human cognitive and physical limits. The human worker is no longer the engine of the economy. The human is becoming the friction. The goal of modern industrial engineering is to reduce that friction to zero. This reality challenges the educational institutions and policy frameworks currently in place. The assumption that a displaced warehouse worker can easily pivot to a role in the knowledge economy is a fallacy. The cognitive demands of the new roles are distinct, and the geographic distribution of these jobs rarely overlaps with the communities most affected by automation. The distribution centers are often located in rural areas or exurbs where land is cheap. The high-tech jobs that support these systems are often located in urban hubs or are remote-capable roles filled by a global workforce. The local economic ecosystem, which relied on the payroll of the distribution center, faces a collapse in aggregate demand. As we look toward the next decade, the projections from labor economists suggest a turbulent transition. The Bureau of Labor Statistics and various think tanks have long predicted a slowdown in the growth of manual roles, but the velocity of the Symbotic deployment accelerates this timeline significantly. We are likely to see a decoupling of productivity from employment in the logistics sector. Productivity will soar as throughput increases, but employment figures will flatline or decline. This phenomenon, known as jobless growth, poses a significant challenge for policymakers concerned with wage stagnation and income inequality. The implications for wages are equally stark. As the demand for manual labor in logistics decreases, the bargaining power of the remaining workforce diminishes. Conversely, the wages for the technicians capable of maintaining the Symbotic hives will likely rise due to scarcity. This exacerbates the wealth gap, creating a bifurcated economy of technocrats and service workers, with very little in between. The ladder of upward mobility, which often began on the warehouse floor, is being pulled up. Furthermore, the integration of artificial intelligence into these systems allows for predictive logistics. The system does not just react to orders, it anticipates them. It positions inventory based on weather patterns, local events, and historical consumption data. This reduces the need for middle management and administrative planners. The decision-making process is offloaded to the algorithm. Thus, the displacement moves up the chain of command, affecting white-collar logistics coordinators as well as blue-collar pickers. The machine assumes the role of both the muscle and the brain. It is essential to recognize that this transition is not malicious. It is inevitable. The pursuit of efficiency is the fundamental drive of capitalism. Walmart are acting rationally within the incentives of the market. To expect them to retain a less efficient labor model for the sake of social stability is to misunderstand the nature of the corporation. The Symbotic system is the logical conclusion of a century of supply chain optimization. It is the final capitulation of biology to engineering. The resilience of the workforce will depend on the ability of the economy to generate entirely new categories of employment that are currently unimaginable. Just as the internet created industries that did not exist in 1990, the era of extreme automation may spawn new sectors. However, the interim period, the years of transition, will be defined by friction and dislocation. The workers displaced by the Symbotic grid will not immediately find refuge in these hypothetical new industries. They will face a market that views their primary asset, their physical labor, as a depreciating currency. In conclusion, the Symbotic system represents more than just a technological upgrade for Walmart. It is a bellwether for the future of work. It demonstrates that the most significant disruptions are not always digital, they are often physical. They are steel structures that occupy millions of square feet of real estate, humming with the quiet intensity of autonomous robots. The architecture of displacement is being built across the American landscape, one distribution center at a time. It promises a future of unprecedented abundance and efficiency, delivered at a speed previously thought impossible. But it also promises a future where the human hand is no longer required to move the world. The silence inside the Symbotic hive is the sound of a new economic reality, one where the machine is the native inhabitant and the human is the obsolete guest.